Hello everyone, today I'm here to review for you Cat in the Box Deluxe Edition, though this is pretty much the edition you'll find online and in stores. This is a trick-taking game with lots of tokens in it. Why? Well, I'll go over roughly how the game plays and then give you some pros and cons to let you know if you should be adding it to your collection. And just so you're aware, Asmodee UK did send me this to review. Cat in the Box takes traditional trick-taking where you play higher numbers into a trick to try and win it, and there is a trump suit with the experiment of the cat in the box. That sort of mind logic of when the cat is in the box, you don't know originally in the experiment whether that cat is alive or not until you've opened the box. In this game, because with trick-taking games you have a colour or a suit, until you play that cat, you don't know what colour it is. All the cards are just black cats. It's as if you can't see their colour while they're in the box, and it's only when you play them that you are sort of basically saying that this is a red 3, a blue 4, that sort of thing. The way that works is you have a little sort of player board in front of you that at the beginning of each game you'll have predicted how many tricks you think you'll win, but around the edge of that it's got the 4 colours. Now, while you've got a player piece in each of those, you can play any of those colours, but if someone says someone else plays, say, like a blue 5 and you don't have anything necessarily higher than a 5, and you maybe can't play a number because once you've played it it gets covered up on the middle board, well then you have to go, okay, I don't have a blue, so this is actually a red, which red is always the trump suit. This is actually a red 2. Now to do that, you're then effectively saying, I don't have any more blue cats left. So you have to remove your little token, and then your little player board thing in front of you has an X over blue. For the rest of that round, you can no longer play cards and say that they are blue. So when you play a card, you are playing its number and then putting a player piece onto the central board to denote which colour it is. But even with this, you are still doing exactly what you're trying to do in a normal trick-taking game of play the higher number into a trick or use a trump card to try and win that trick. The game goes on for as many rounds as there are players, and each round you're going to score based on the number of tricks that you've got most of the time. Now, there's a twist here again. If you just play all your cards out and the round ends normally, or you don't cause a paradox, we'll come on to that in a second, you score 1 point for every trick that you earned. But at the beginning of the game I alluded to that you have to sort of predict how many tricks you think you're going to win. If you do win that exact amount, not more, not less, that exact amount, then you get a bonus based on where you've placed your player tokens onto that central board. Basically your biggest grouping of them scores you that many points. So a grouping of 3 would be 3 bonus points. So players will earn points each round that way. But if you cause a paradox, and what that means is, let's say all of the number 4s in the middle have been covered up by player tokens and you only have a 4 to play, well, you can't play it, and therefore you've caused a paradox. The round ends prematurely. That trick that was ongoing doesn't get resolved and everyone counts up points then. The person that caused the paradox, they don't get that opportunity for bonus points even if they predicted the right number, and also their scored tricks, instead of being 1 point, are minus 1 point. And, well, that can be quite a big difference. At the end of the game, you'll just add up the scores for all the individual rounds. Again, you're playing the same number of rounds as players round the table, and whoever's got the most points wins. So let's jump into the trick-taking aspect. I absolutely adore trick-taking. I think it's a really easy mechanic to teach people just off the bat normally. Trick-taking is you play a higher number into this and you win the trick. There's a trump suit. If a trump has been played, then the highest trump wins instead. It's super simple, and a number of games have come out recently with twists and turns on this mechanic, and Cat in the Box is another one of them. It's one that doesn't exactly make the game easier to explain, because it adds a level of complexity. And I think some people will really like it and like the way that central board is, others will not. What I'm trying to say by that is, if you're brand new to trick-taking, you've never played a trick-taking game, I don't necessarily think this is one that you should jump into straight away. Play just a standard trick-taking game with a deck of 52 normal playing cards, or maybe something like Fox in the Forest, which is another fantastic game that you can enjoy trick-taking in. I'm not entirely sure that you'd be competitive for the first, well, certainly game, maybe game and a half, if this is your brand new first experience. There's a couple of reasons for that. Not only is there the prediction, so you're looking at your hand of cards and predicting how many tricks you think you'll win. That could offer you a lot of bonus points. We've seen people earn more bonus points in a single round, like 7 bonus points in a single round, which was almost as many points they'd won from tricks the entire game. So you need a little bit of trick-taking understanding to know how high or low you should be predicting. Add that with the fact that it's not just playing coloured cards into a trick, you also have that mental gymnastics above the trick-taking of, someone's already played a red 6, they've put a token on it, that means, no, I've got a 6, I can't play it as red anymore. You're going to start stumbling a little bit there quicker than someone who's played a normal trick-taking game. For fans of trick-taking games though, this one elevates things, because there is that central board and it filling up, and you're like, I've got this hand, I've got a couple of 2s left, there's not many slots. If I don't get these out soon, probably losing tricks to play them, I'm in a real high chance of causing a paradox, and then I'm losing probably points. I'm certainly not scoring my bonus points, but any tricks I've earned, they're now negative. And there's a real extra level to this that I think trick-taking fans will love. But you need to know how a trick-taking game works to do the predictions and really understand how and when you should be like, I'm going to lose this trick, but I need to get this card out of my hand, that sort of thing. So, depending on where you are on trick-taking, you would maybe get a bit of a love-hate playing this for the first time. Following on from that, the paradox system. When I started playing this game, I didn't realise how common it is. And we did the maths on like the different player counts. And let's take 3 players as an example. You have the exact number of cards in there for the players to each have a hand, all discard 1, and all have 1 left in their hand at the end of the game. Which means everyone has to play their cards perfectly and almost nicely, not blocking each other, for a paradox not to occur. And what's important about this is, because it can cause you to score a load of negative points and not get your bonus, it's a huge deal if you're going to cause a paradox. You really do have to go out of your way to not score a paradox. To put into perspective, in one game that we played, my wife managed to score, I think it was 10 points in the round from the trick she'd played and the bonus that she scored. If my wife had actually at that point caused a paradox, instead of 10 points, she'd have been getting -3. That is a huge potential swing in points. So because those paradoxes happen basically every game, which I didn't expect. I thought, these would be happening every other game, infrequently. It's a fun thing that might happen now and again. I went into it the first few games thinking, okay, they're not going to happen, and they kept happening and kept happening. So you almost just need to play your cards at times just to make sure you're not paradoxing. That's something to have in the back of your mind when you're playing cards. Again, coming into the fact that if you've not played a trick-taking game before, you might struggle. Touching briefly on the theme, it's a trick-taking game. Most of them don't have basically any theme, but this one really does kind of work. It is about that cat-in-the-box experiment. And in this game, until you've played that card and observed that cat, not knowing what colour it is, that just kind of works. And everyone seems to have like a general knowledge of, that cat-in-the-box experiment, that sort of thing. So you can use it to explain, like when you play the card, you don't know necessarily what colour it is until you choose. And it's just very unique, very different, and I think it works, even helping explain how to play the game. And that's what I want from a theme, and for a trick-taking games theme to come through, that's pretty impressive, to be fair. The components in this are really nice. I mean, the little board thing that sits in front of you, or the one in the middle of the table, that's dual layered. It's got these cards that slide in depending on the player count, which is a really nice touch. I think that's all done really nicely. The little tokens, they're like nice translucent plastic. They add a real nicety. Yeah, they're a little small, but they're still pretty damn nice. The production quality is really high for a trick-taking game. Certainly cannot find any flaws with it. It's just really nice, and I can see why they refer to it as the Deluxe Edition. And finally, I've got to touch on something that the publisher has done so right with this. It's on the box that it's 2 to 5 players, but there's also, right next to that player count thing on the box, a little indicator that just says special rules for 2 player. I think that's absolutely fantastic. They're not covering up anything, it's making it really clear, and actually, as games go, there's not that many special rules for 2 players. There's like a couple that just block some of the spots, basically. I think the game still works at 2 just fine. Maybe I enjoy it a bit more when there's more numbers at the start of the round to go for and more players around the table, but it certainly works at 2. But I just got to give the publisher some massive props for sort of actually putting something on there, on the box, to indicate, yeah, it's 2 to 5. There are a couple of sort of tweaks, even if they are minor ones, compared to other games that don't let you know that ahead of time. So, overall, Cat in the Box Deluxe Edition. It's gonna be one for you trick-taking fans out there. For me, I enjoy it, but I don't know necessarily how many times I'll get it to the table. Trick-taking games for me, I really like simple ones that I can get to the table with anyone, brand new gamers, that sort of thing. And I'm not sure I would get Cat in the Box to the table with people that I'd want to be getting a gateway game to. However, it's probably going to stick around in the collection for a little bit because I definitely enjoy the way you're predicting tricks, and just there's something about, oh, this card, this number 5, until I play it, I don't know, and you don't know if it's a blue, a yellow, a red, a green, for playing into tricks. I really do like that aspect, and I think if I can get this to the table with people that know how and enjoy to playing trick-taking games, then I'll carry on enjoying this. And I think that's where you'll find it's got a really cool sort of extra mechanism for you to think about on top of the trick-taking that lots of people will enjoy. It's just whether you're going to be getting this to the table with new players or semi-experienced trick-taking fans. One or the other will probably mean it will stay in the collection or not. But hopefully this has helped you know if Cat in the Box Deluxe Edition should be added to your collection. Let me know what colour cat is your favourite in the comments section below. And until next time, have a cat-filled good day.